Hello everyone. My name is Tarun. I'm an engineer at Dragonfly. In this in this demo, we look at the new Dragonfly operator. Dragonfly operator is a Kubernetes operator that essentially makes it easy for you to install and manage your Dragonfly instances in your Kubernetes environments. It follows the same Kubernetes controller loop pattern and provides you a declarative way of asking for Dragonfly instances and also managing them. Dragonfly operator is also an Apache 2 licensed open source repo in the Dragonfly DB organization that you can look at. So let's follow the README and do a demo of the Dragonfly operator. So first, we should have the Kubernetes cluster running, and once you have that, we'll install the CRDs. Right, the CRD is the schema of the Dragonfly declarative configuration. We'll look at that in a bit. Let's also install the operator. Right, the operator is the deployment that essentially listens on the Dragonfly the custom resources and also make sure that what you specify in the configuration is actually the real state in the cluster. So once this is done, if we do QTL get pods, there should be a new Dragonfly operator system namespace along with the Dragonfly DB operator pod being created. So now let's create a sample Dragonfly instance, right? So Dragonfly sample instance is essentially a kind Dragonfly, and it has a spec of two replicas. So essentially, one master and the other read-only replica. Because oper- Dragonfly is used for failover capabilities, only one master is present by default, and then all the other replicas are read-only replicas that the operator will use to make sure to fail over if there is a problem. And then there are some specific resources here that are being configured. So once this is done, if we do kubectl, let's apply the instance, right? Let's copy the command, the sample instance. So once we do this, we are essentially creating a Dragonfly sample instance, and the operator should have seen this and already went ahead and created the resources for this uh, sam- sample instance. So as you can see, there's a pod being created, but actually under hood, the operator creates a stateful set and a service on the same name. So as you can see, we have a stateful set with two replicas and also a service Dragonfly sample that essentially always points to the master instance of the Dragonfly. So essentially, through the service, you can always be sure that you're talking to the master, right? And the operator makes sure with all the failover capabilities, etc., that a healthy master is present behind the service all the time. So now, once the service is ready, we should be able to, as you can see, the service is ready. We should see two pods. Both are ready. So now let's talk to the Dragonfly instance, right? So we'll use the Redis CLI running inside the Kubernetes the cluster to talk to the Dragonfly instance. So this command essentially runs a Redis CLI pod and points to the Dragonfly sample service. So once we do this, we should have a command line interface through which you can perform Redis commands, right? So let's insert some data and check for a failover. So let's do get one. Let's do set one to get one. So as you can see, we have inserted some data, but now let's do some failover, right? Let's do some testing. So if we do role equal to master, we see that Dragonfly sample 0 is the master and the 1 is the replica. So now let's delete the master, right? The one behind the service, the actual pod behind the service. Now if we delete the pod, we should see that automatically the other pod should be the new master, and Dragonfly sample 0, once it comes back again, should be a replica to the new master. So now if we do kubectl get pods master, we should see that one is the new master and it's running already. And if you see replica, there's a new replica being created right now, and sample 0, which was the master previously, is now the new replica. So now once this is, so if we do get one, it should automatically work. There's obviously a connection timeout, but mm, As you can see, we got back to the new master and it's already running. So the operator did this, right? The operator already saw that the master was going down. It created a new master, and then uh, we were able to talk to it through the same service without any change. So that is the most important part. So now let's exit. The operator should do more than this, right? Obviously, failover is important and is awesome, but we should be able to configure more things, right, through the operator. And this is where we have a lot more fields, and new fields will be added as the operator evolves. So now let's increase the replicas, right? For any reason, I want to increase the number of replicas that I have. So we have two right now. Let's do three, right? I want three replicas. Now, we updated the replicas field of the Dragonfly sample instance, and now if we do a cubicle, the get pod replica, we have a new pod called the Dragonfly sample 2, which is a replica talking to the current master. So now, if we do cubicle pods, which is three total, 0, 1, 2. 2 is the new one that came up, and it's also a replica, as 0 is a master that is already healthy. Now we should also be able to vertically scale, right? So vertical scaling is very important with Dragonfly, because the whole point of Dragonfly is to efficiently use your CPU and RAM, right? So as you vertically scale, that is increase your the resource constraints, essentially increase your memory and RAM. Dragonfly should efficiently utilize all the extra cores to make sure you get the best utilization, right, in all the in memory in from most of the in-memory caches available in the market. So let's see that. So through the Dragonfly operator, you can also apply. Here we have a command that essentially updates the resource requirements. Right. Once we do this, we should see. Let's do more. Right. I want 1 gigabyte as the new memory request, and 2 gigabytes as the memory limit. So once we do this, we should see that there's already a rollout happening on the stateful set. So if we do cubicle get stateful set, we are already seeing that it's being updated. New resources are being changed on the pods, and as you'd see, the rollout will take over, right? It's starting from 2, it will go until 0. Once 2 is ready, as you saw, we are going to 1, and it goes on, right, until 0, until all the pods are changed to the new resource requirements. So this is the awesome part with the Kubernetes operator, right? With the Dragonfly operator, essentially, now you don't have to understand Dragonfly. You don't have to understand all the nitty gritties of how to fail over and write your own specific tools, right? If you're running in Kubernetes, Dragonfly operator essentially take manages everything for you, and also more, as the operator will evolve to do more things.